just one day after former President Trump swept all but one of the Super Tuesday states, former Congresswoman Liz Cheney is launching a new political action committee. She unveiled her new PAC, The Great Task, on social media with a scathing post, skewering her party for once again, Donald Trump as its nominee. She wrote this: "The GOP has chosen. They will nominate a man who attempted to overturn an election and seize power. We have 8 months to save our republic and ensure that Donald Trump is never anywhere near the Oval Office again." The Great Task is a multi-candidate PAC sponsored by the former Congresswoman. The PAC is not yet affiliated with any presidential candidate. Joining us now, former Republican Congressman David Jolly of Florida. David, thanks so much for being with us this morning. So let's start there. Liz Cheney is representative of a significant group of Republicans, voters who simply will not back Donald Trump. We saw a lot of them break for Nikki Haley in recent weeks. Do you think they'll hold firm and either support President Biden, support a third-party candidate, stay home, or will they inevitably come back to the GOP and Trump?
Well, I think that's the decisive question in November, Jonathan. Will they stay, will their opposition to Donald Trump lead them to vote for Joe Biden, or will they stay home or consider a third party? And this is where I think the leadership of Nikki Haley and Liz Cheney and others becomes so critically important. I'm not sure that Nikki Haley herself really led a movement as much as she did create a vessel for these voters. And so if you are one of these voters who was most concerned with Donald Trump's fitness, his fitness for office was why you opposed him, the fact that he won on Super Tuesday doesn't make him more fit for office. And so where is the intellectual honesty? Where is the call to action? It kind of requires you to actually then say, well, I'm going to vote for Joe Biden. And I would suggest, with all due respect to Liz Cheney, who is a true patriot and has demonstrated that in the last year, the line that is missing from her statement is, therefore, I will be voting for Joe Biden, and I'm asking you to as well. Jonathan, this is not 2016 where there's a lot of unknowns. It's not 2020. It's 2024. We know the threat that Donald Trump is. The voters who voted for Haley said he is a threat. He is unfit. So the only answer then is to go all the way and suggest, so therefore I will vote for Joe Biden. And I think we should hear that from Nikki Haley and Liz Cheney. I'm not sure we will from Haley. Maybe we will from Liz Cheney before November.
David, give us your brief assessment simply of what these primaries showed us about Trump's strengths and, more importantly, his weaknesses.
Yeah, Jonathan, I think Donald Trump is in a lot of trouble. I mean, we look at the polls and you see notionally he's up a few points over Joe Biden. We looked at the electoral math, but the truth is this coalition of soft Republicans and independents who have chosen Democrats over Republicans. They were there in 18, 20, 22. They're still there in 24. And in 24, we actually have the motivating issues like Dobbs and reproductive freedom that we didn't have in 18 and 20. I think Donald Trump is in trouble. Ignore the polls for a minute. I would much rather be in Joe Biden's position today than in Donald Trump's.
So Joe Biden has a big position tonight, the State of the Union address, a national audience, probably his biggest audience of the year. The only one coming close might be his convention speech, or if he and Trump do have a debate or two. What does he need to do tonight in terms of policy, but also proving vitality when he speaks to the voters?
Yeah, look, I think Joe Biden is in a very strong position. I think the one thing that has to happen before November by Biden and Democrats is to take control of the issues of the economy and the border. And you're seeing him do that. But right now, I think Republicans have gotten away with framing the issue. The economy somehow is soft. That's not true. The border problem is.
Hope you enjoyed the latest MSNBC clip you watched. We're eager to dive into our thoughts on it, and we'd love for you to join the conversation down in the comments. Don't forget to show your support by hitting the like button and follow us to stay updated. Subscribe to our channel to catch more content like this. Liz Cheney's recent move to launch a new political action committee named The Great Task represents a bold and unequivocal stance within the Republican Party. As a conservative, I am generally predisposed to support Republican initiatives aimed at strengthening our party and its values. However, Cheney's explicit aim to prevent Donald Trump from regaining the presidency strikes a discordant note within the GOP's current political harmony. It's no secret that Cheney has been a vehement critic of former President Trump, especially regarding the January 6th incident, and her determination in holding him accountable led to her ousting from House Republican leadership. Some may argue her actions embody the very essence of constitutional patriotism, standing for the rule of law against all odds, even within one's party. Yet, we must remember that Trump's presidency brought significant conservative victories, appointing 3 Supreme Court justices, achieving tax reform, and bolstering our military, to name a few. Cheney's notion that the GOP's nomination of Trump, should it occur, is a decision against the welfare of the Republic is a dramatic and, I believe, misguided sentiment. The heart of the Republican Party still beats strong with Trump's policy ideals, and many within the party remain loyal to the vision he set forth. The success seen under Trump's administration directly contradicts the claim that his leadership threatened the fabric of our nation. Regarding Cheney's PAC, it serves as a rallying point for the never-Trump faction within the Republican landscape. Rather than embracing the broad coalition of the GOP base that has found common ground, Cheney seems focused on fracturing the party. History tells us that a divided party is a defeated party. Harkening back to Lincoln's "A House Divided" speech, this infighting serves no one in the conservative movement and could inadvertently aid our Democratic opponents. Contrary to the proposed strategy of Cheney and her PAC, conservative Republicans must reckon with the reality that our strength lies in unity, not fragmentation. The existential threats of progressivism, such as big government overreach, economic mismanagement, and foreign policy blunders, demand that conservatives unite under a common banner. Finally, let's consider the critical nature of the 2024 presidential election. If there were to be an alternative conservative candidate who could harness the full spectrum of the Republican base while assuaging the concerns Cheney raises about Trump, then perhaps that strategy could merit discussion. But absent such a candidate, our focus must be on policy and principles, not personal vendettas. In conclusion, while I respect Cheney's service and her commitment to principles as she sees them, her new PAC and its mission seem ill-timed and ill-advised. The priority as conservatives should not be to undercut potential nominees, but to prepare for the monumental task of governing with conservative principles guiding our nation forward. As Republicans, our great task must be to foster unity, support strong leadership, and promote a platform that upholds the Constitution and the American spirit.